Okay guys, time for this thing to get painted. I've got a game plan together because this thing is so big and it won't fit in the normal paint booth. We're going to be painting it in the prep station, which is basically just a paint booth with plastic sides. It's all acceptable to paint in here. You don't end up with as clean of paint jobs, but it's not going to hurt anything in this situation. Okay, since this thing is so big, if you remember, we already got the roof of it painted. Devin painted the roof. And I hate it, but Ryan and Anthony and Chase and Haley worked so hard to get this thing ready. I really apologize that you're not getting to paint it, but at least you're going to get to see the results of your handiwork. What I've got to do here is paint this thing kind of in sections. Like I said, the roof was done. I've had to raise this dump body up, and I've got a bar going across there and a jack stand. It should stay up, but you know, safety first here. I'm gonna have to paint all of this back here, basically from this line down to the frame. I'm gonna paint that, and I'm gonna paint the cow. This is called a cow panel, not moo, C-O-W-L. The cow panel and the hood at the same time. So that back panel back there and the cow. The reason I'm doing that is since I've got to paint that back part separate, I can't cover everything up with plastic with that dump body up. Those are the most difficult spots to paint. So I'm going to get it taped up to paint those two areas, and then I'm going to come back, and then the next paint job I put on it will be the sides, and I'll do both sides at the same time if everything goes smooth. And then the following day or a couple days, I'm going to turn it around and paint that dump body. So here we go. It's taking me about 10 minutes, maybe 15. And what I've done is I've outlined the window and where I'm going to stop with 3/4 inch tape. Now, I taped up the emblem. Now, for people that are watching this video that aren't in my class, it seems like I'm cutting a lot of corners. I'm not. This is an old Department of Transportation dump truck that belongs to a local farmer or uses it around the farm. He just wanted it shiny again. So that's what we're doing. It was a great training job, and the guys working on this have done an excellent job. So don't be hating on nothing. So you see I've outlined this. And I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. That's why I didn't film me taping this up. And then I'm getting ready to cover this up with plastic, and I'll come back to you. I know you've seen this before, but now it's covered up with plastic sheeting, and I'm gonna go around with a razor blade, and a brand new razor blade, and lightly cut. I'm gonna pull all this off out of the center of and expose the stuff that's gonna be painted. Taped up, wiped down now. It's tacked off as good as I can get it tacked off. Now I'm gonna go mix up some paint. Okay, I'm in the mixing room. Again, apologize for the noise. It's got an exhaust fan in here as well. This is an important step that I'm getting ready to explain to you. Some of you that were working on this job, remember when we got these 2 gallons of paint, they weren't the right color. That dump truck in there has been painted several times, and every time they did it, it was a slightly different color. So the paint code didn't match, or we mixed the right paint code, it didn't match. So what they had to do was send me a quart of red. I don't know how many of you remember this. Some of you saw me do this. And I dumped it, I divided it up evenly into these cans as evenly as possible and stirred it up. That got the color to where it is now, and that's the color that we painted on the roof. What I have to do now is, since I couldn't exactly pour half into each one of them, I'm going to pour some out of this one and some out of this one into this empty container. And I'm going to keep doing that until I have it stirred and they're all blended together. I hope that makes sense to you. That way it's going to ensure that when I switch from this container, because I'm going to use every drop of this paint, when I switch from this container, that it will all match. Because remember, I'm painting this in pieces. Like the roof I wasn't really concerned with because you won't be able to tell because you can't see the roof at the same time. But when I paint the hood, if I paint the hood with this can and the back of the thing, and when I run out, and then if I were to paint the doors and the fenders with this can, if it was off even the slightest bit, you'd be able to see it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blend these two containers together into this one. You kind of got what I'm going on, like a mixology going here. And then that way I'm going to ensure that all the panels match. I realize you can't see much. I got this plastic running in between, but I can't put my phone in there. It's going to get overspray all over it. You're not going to be able to see much, and this part here is going to be difficult to paint. I'll try and film as much of it as I can. Okay, many of you may have noticed that this is single stage and I didn't put on a tack coat. And if you remember from the video with the Jeep, and anytime we use a single stage, I put on a real light first coat. In this case with this dump truck, I want to pound as much paint on there as possible to cover up any little sanding imperfections. There's chips all over this thing. So I'm kind of breaking a rule, but it's going to be all right. I'm gonna go in. I got to mix up some more paint and put another coat on. Okay, I've got enough paint left in the gun that I'm gonna go ahead and put a third coat on that hood. It'll make it look that much better. I mean, because the hood's all pitted up and everything, but it will help it look a whole lot better. I know you never hardly ever see me wear gloves, but when you're using single stage and you're doing something this big, I wear gloves. All right, guys, I'm not gonna film the third coat. Well, it looks nice. There's a couple runs, but they're not our runs. They're from a previous paint job. But I know there ain't a straight square inch on that hood, but we weren't supposed to straighten any dents. But it looks good. You guys did good prep work.